Hola, everyone. I want to come on with a midday message for y'all today. And that message is that it's not how you start, friend. It is not. It has nothing to do with how you start. Many of us started with great hands, many of us started with bad hands. It ain't about how you start. It's about how you, it's not even about how you finish. People want to say it is, but it's not. It's really about what you do in the meantime, how you keep it pushing, how you keep motivating yourself, how you keep allowing yourself to overcome. You know, I'm going to use myself as an example. All of my businesses that I started, let me give you an example. Before I even started my businesses, y'all, I worked for the phone company, had a great job at the phone company. I did well. I was a top seller, made good money, um, but I got burnt out from it. I was tired of it after a while. My mother had lost her job. She got fired from a job that she had spent like 23 years on. And I remember being a young girl and on holidays, birthdays, weekends, my mom was always at work. My mother was a workaholic. She devoted 90% of her life to her job. She worked at a hospital. And I remember even on Christmas when she was off, which was rare, we always knew that she was probably end up going to work. And back then we had pagers and no doubt every holiday, no matter what holiday it was, she always got a page and had to go to work. And she would drop everything she was doing and head to that job. No matter who was in town, no matter what the holiday was, no matter how she felt, she would drop everything and go to that job. And the whole family will be upset with her about it, but she would still do it. And after 20 some odd years on that job, they fired her. And I remember it devastated my mother so bad. I was working at the phone company at the time. And I just lost all faith in working for someone else. After that, that turned me. And I was like, "Oh no. This is not where it's at." This was shown to me for a purpose. I remember my mother and how she would be at that job all night, all day. I mean, she was always at work. And for them to fire her like that, I said, no, not me. So I started to get disgruntled with the job. I was tired of it. And I got fired. I got fired from the phone company. It was my fault. I wasn't showing up. I had went out on leave. And I was supposed to go back on a day, on a specific day, and I just didn't go back. I never went back. And as life progressed, I went through trials and tribulations. As anyone would that unexpectedly lost their job. And those trials and tribulations, most of the time, I never regretted leaving that job. The trials weren't that terrible that I really wanted the job back until I had my daughter. And then when I had my daughter, it was like, oh, wow, I was in another state. And it was like, you know what? This situation that I'm in is bad. And it's so bad that I will actually wish I could go back to the phone company. So you know it had to be bad because I was just burnt out from the phone company. And I tried to get my job back with the phone company and go through all the little legalities behind it. And I wasn't able to do it. God didn't ordain that over my life. So me being in the entrepreneurial spirit was ordained for me to do. It's something that I had to default to. And I'm not going to get all into what led me, but long story short, I began working in trucking by way of my family. Some my family members, my cousin, most importantly, came at me and was like, "Let's do this together." And I ended up getting into trucking, and I started with a Sprinter van, and I drove all over the country hauling freight in this Sprinter van. I slept in this Sprinter van all over the country at truck stops. I would drop my freight off. I pull out my little cot and I lay down in the back and I sleep and I get up, go in there and take a shower and go pick up more freight. I did it. And that was my beginnings. Those were my humble beginnings. I learned the industry. Had I thought when I first went into trucking that I would have to be driving all over the state, all over the continental U.S. in this minivan, basically, and sleeping in it, I probably wouldn't have pursued it. God didn't show that vision of it to me at the time. I probably would have been like, no, I'm going to go find another job, work for someone else. I don't want to do that. And once I got in it, I became adjusted to it because I saw a greater vision. A greater vision unfolded to me as I took the steps in moving toward the initial vision. But had I not moved toward the initial vision, that greater vision would have never exposed itself. Even with the skincare line, this has been a labor of love my whole life. Ever since I was a child, I just got through making some product, y'all. So if I got some stuff on me, it's because I was making some oils. But ever since I was a child, I have had a fascination for oils, butters, plant extracts, essences, essential oils. I've just had a deep fascination for them. I would go to Thrifties. I would look at and buy a bunch of stuff. I was a product junkie. I would go through the Essence magazines, Glamour magazines, Vogue, you name it. I would go through the magazines and I would find the top products that they thought were best for whatever hair, skin, whatever, and I would go and buy them. And then when I would buy them, I look at the ingredients list and research what oils are in there, and then I would go and find wholesalers of these oils and I would buy them and mix them together. And I've been doing this a long time, but never did I think that I would be creating a skincare line. Had I not taken the initial step to feed my fascination, had I not ordered those oils and blended them myself, I probably wouldn't have had enough faith in embarking on such a journey years later. All of those experiences that I acted upon early in life and all throughout my journey gave me the confidence to launch my own line. And this is what I'm leading you all to. Many of you all are waiting for the right opportunities. Many of you are like, okay, I got these ideas, but I don't know how to start them. I don't know who's going to be able to come and help me. I don't know where to start. I don't know this. I don't know that. You'll never know unless you begin to research and you begin to act. It's about action. Many of us are talkers. We sit up amongst each other and be talking, oh yeah, I want to do this. And we'll go to functions that support that, networking events. You'll do all of that, but you won't follow it up with no action. I am an action-oriented person. I understand what it's like to walk around a mountain for years and not know how to climb it. And you're just standing there looking at it and you're like, I don't know how to climb it, even though I'm an action-oriented person. Those things happen because we're confused. Those things happen because we're afraid. But there's usually something that comes upon us that makes us act. I was led to act in my transportation company because I didn't have a job. I didn't have anything else. I was boxed in. I had to act. The skincare line. I acted on the skincare line because I had heart failure. And I was really looking to help myself lessen the chances of things like that ever happening to me again. I began blending my own blends of oils and butters to hydrate my skin, and that would serve my internal organs, and that could strengthen the blood and to strengthen organs that are inside of me to help me be more empowered, more stronger, physically and mentally. I tapped into this because of something that immediately happened to me. Look at my Bible studies. Y'all think I come on with these Bible studies because I don't know what you think. But let me tell you, this Bible study was something that came upon me out of fear. Fear brought me to delivering upon the Bible studies. I want to say concern, but that's my ego because I don't want to really acknowledge that I was afraid. But I was afraid. I was afraid. And fear came upon me, and fear said, no, we need to do this. Not for no applause, not for no likes, not for anything outside of the fact that God has led you to this, and this is what you need to do. And this is a win-win. Regardless. This is a win-win. And as I began doing it, I began to become empowered by doing it. So much so that now I look forward to doing it. It does not frighten me like it used to. When I first came on to do the Bible studies, I was frightened. I was frightened that I was going to make a fool of myself. I was frightened that I didn't know what to say. Yet, everything that I had learned along the way, all the thoughts that I had pondered, all the information that I had sought, all the time that I spent with the God within me, it just came up. I'm saying all this to you, not to make this about me. But Spirit is speaking to me to tell you today that you have enough right now, friend. Everything you need, you got right now. There is no person coming to help you. You got to do you. If I thought that I would need an office space and all of this and that to do this skincare line, I would have never done it. I wouldn't be surrounded by all of this stuff. It took me years to acquire this. This is my lab. I be mixing stuff in here. All of this stuff is worthless to someone else, but to me, it's priceless. It's my heaven. But had I thought, oh, you're going to need space for people to come in and see you. Oh, who's going to want to buy from you selling out of your house? Who's going to want to do this? Who's going to want to do that? I would have never started. But now that I'm in a place where I have something that I'm proud of, this is my blood, sweat, and tears. I get up in the middle of the night and I come in here and I create to clear my mind. This means more to me than a sale. So it's not about people coming to my house to buy it. Now I'm realizing that it's the recipe. The recipe I can make in a lab. I don't have to make it here. This is where I perfect it. Then I can take it wherever I need to take it to create it. And manufacture it and multiply it and package it. This is what I'm trying to lead you to. What you are looking at, you're looking at it in a complicated way, possibly. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to create. You need to follow the spirit that is within you to lead you, to keep feeding your creative ideas. Because if they were not relevant, you wouldn't have the need to bring them forward. Whatever it is that's your calling is what you have loved all along. That's it. If it was my calling to stay working a job at the phone company or whatever, I would have still been there. It wasn't my calling. It fed a need at the time. I was good at it. If it was my calling to be a manager, I would have stayed a manager. It would have still been what I do. And I would have still been good at it. It wasn't my calling. Those were stepping stones that I needed to get me to where I am. Those were stepping stones that I needed to give me the tools to be able to use in a specific way now. And many of you have those same tools. Many of you have those same paths. And if they're not the same, whatever path you took was a stepping stone that will lead you to the birth of what your calling is. Bring it forth. You don't need anybody else. This is a one-woman show here. I went through the stage of feeling like, oh, I gotta have, when I wanted to do my content on social media, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a podcast and I'm gonna interview people because I like interviewing people. I like learning from people. Yet now it's a struggle to find people that want to be interviewed. Okay, Spirit has told me that season is over. You don't need them. That's their loss. We will not deal with them on that level. This is a one-woman show. We will expound upon what we know without having to depend on anybody else. That's capital that I can save and put in my pocket. You have the same ability. Stop waiting for everything to line up perfectly. It ain't going to do it. What will happen is Spirit will lead you. If you don't follow the instinct, God's will is going to be done regardless, friend. And what I have learned is that if you don't follow your instinct, God will force his hand. And he will put you in an uncomfortable situation where you don't have no choice other than to act. He's going to say, I gave you all this time to act, and you didn't do it. So now I'm going to have to force you to do it. I ask that you act on your own terms and on your own time. Because when God moves and when God forces your hand, it's a tough thing. And I've been there and I've done that. And I'm telling you, it's not for the faint of heart. You're loved more than you'll ever know. This was just on my spirit today. Don't know why. And just wanted to speak this over you all today. You're loved more than you'll ever know. You came here to expound upon a gift. God put certain people in your lives to help you expound upon your gifts. Now, how you treat those people is up to you. But trust me, there's someone in your circle that can help you expound upon your gifts. I've had many in my circle that have helped me, and I keep them. Those people that have helped me, I keep. Everybody can't go, though, friend. Some people God will have fall off, and because their seasons in your life are over. Yet, you will still continue, and they will continue on as well, on their own respective journeys. Act on your goals. Act on your calling in whatever way you can. Take the step, and the other steps will unfold. Trust and know. You're loved more than you'll ever know. I'll never stop telling you. Peace and love.